Megan.
I'm Kate.
And this is
Cooking with the Bells.
What are we drinking?
So today, I was going to make a caramel latte.
Oh,
Like, I know it doesn't really go with any food since we're not making breakfast, but like, I need coffee.
I will drink coffee any time of the day. And honestly, like, coffee drinks are my favorite thing that we do on this show.
It's so it's always coffee, but it's so versatile. So for our lattes, I made espresso in my Mako pot. And I just did this is a 3 cup, and I did half in our drink we already have made, and so I'm just gonna pour the other half in this guy. Because we love coffee, but also I'm pretty sure we've both already had 3 cups today.
Yeah, there should probably be a limit.
And then I'm gonna do a tablespoon of caramel sauce. And then with the caramel sauce, some tricks for you. You can see how ours is thick. I'm putting it in really hot coffee, but if you're wanting to make yours iced and you're worried about the caramel dissolving or anything like that, if you just put it in a pot of boiling water, have it in a heat-proof jar, like our mason jars here, and then just let it sit in some simmering water. It'll loosen it up so it's nice and loose for you.
That's probably the perfect tip for making ice cream sundaes as well, because you don't want just giant clumps of caramel on your ice cream that's not going to melt because ice cream's cold. So
exactly, absolutely. And then you can see I made a mess when I did this earlier.
You already know who we are. This is season 2,
right? So I just it's roughly 3/4 cup of milk. And then I just topped it off with a couple of tablespoons of creamer to help it froth a little better. Another place you could use caramel creamer. I just use sweet cream because it's my favorite.
You could use oat milk creamer or an almond creamer here, couldn't you as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
To make it dairy-free?
Whatever your preference is. But yeah, that's it. There's a lot of parts to this drink, I feel, but once you have the caramel sauce made, it's like adding syrup to your drink, so I don't feel like it's overly complicated.
I love it. And of course this caramel sauce has so many different uses, so I really feel like this is a solid recipe.
And I think it took me 15 minutes. It's actually pretty fast, so
lovely. And cheers. That's a great latte. I love all things caramel, so
it's so good. Well, and I know I like a little bit of that bitter hit from the coffee. I want to taste the caramel, but I like that little bit of just
right.
Which is why I only do about 3/4 to a tablespoon of caramel sauce. But I know some people really like it sweet and they don't want that bitter.
Yeah.
Feel free to go up to 2-3 tablespoons, personal preference.
If you're the one who asked for extra caramel drizzle on your cup, we're talking to you.
Yeah. So, what food are we making today?
Well, it is almost St. Patty's Day, so we're going to be making bangers and mash. So if you haven't had bangers and mash before, it is sausages, and then you make a onion gravy, and then you serve them over mashed potatoes. Super simple, super easy, but super delicious.
Ooh.
Right. So first things first, we are going to make our mashed potatoes. We will go ahead and provide you the recipe. However, you can make whatever mashed potatoes are your favorite here. If you need to use instant because you're short on time, that's fine. If you have your great grandma's recipe that you love, that's fine too. So we're going to start. We have some boiled potatoes that were chopped. How many potatoes do you think roughly we had here?
It's probably 2 to 3 pounds of potatoes. I want to say it was close to 10 or 12 potatoes, but they were all really almost baby russets that we've been getting in those 5-pound bags since the potato season's starting to shift a little.
Right. So about half that bag of a 5-pound bag.
About half of a 5-pound bag.
So I'm just gonna mash. Up to you. But what we're gonna do here is we're going to add in a whole stick of butter because we like butter around here.
It's also half melted because
we like really,
we poor planner here and it got softened in the microwave.
It happens, right?
It's going to melt in the potatoes anyways.
I mean, and we're in Texas and it's pretty warm out, so
yeah,
it's fine. So this is already salted butter, so I'm gonna be mindful of that when I'm picking out my seasonings. However, if you are on a low sodium diet, go ahead and use unsalted butter.
And if you like, you can use unsalted butter anyways. Just keep that in mind whenever you're adding your salt. You're probably going to want more salt than what we'll add since we do already have the salt and butter.
Exactly. And if you are dairy-free, feel free to go ahead and use one of the dairy-free vegan butters. For our recipe, we like a 1/4 cup of sour cream in here. It just adds like a good tang, but also a creaminess.
It doesn't taste like sour cream.
Exactly. So if you have an aversion to sour cream, you're not going to be tasting just like a ton of that tang because, I mean, it is 2.5 pounds of potatoes that you're mixing it with.
Yeah.
And for a little added creaminess, we also like to add in a couple of splashes of milk and probably, I would say, 2 to 3 tablespoons. However, every time I make it, it's probably a little different because you just stir till you get that desired consistency.
Mm-hmm. It'll also make a difference if you're like just boiled potatoes so they're nice and toasty warm, or if you're like boiled your potatoes the day before and now you're using somewhat cold potatoes. I've found that also affects it a little bit.
Yes, I would definitely say so. All right, I am going to add in our seasonings now. We are a pepper family. Well, probably me and Kate more than anybody in the family,
Yeah.
but
much to other family members' detriment.
yes. And remembering that you're going to have like an onion gravy on top of this is also how you're going to want to think about your seasonings. But we are going to use a little bit of pepper, a little garlic powder, but then also I know we use salted butter. So I am going to use just a smidget of garlic salt just because I like that rough chopped parsley when I don't have time to like go to the store and just grab some fresh parsley and chop it.
Yeah.
But I also, there's just something about a garlic salt.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, potatoes also do really love salt. You just
That's true.
want to keep it in mind because you can always add more. You can never take it away.
Precisely. So I'm just going to give all of those seasonings a good stir into our potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, I think, is one of my favorite foods.
Mine too. And I'm really excited for this onion gravy.
Never had it before, and I honestly don't think I've ever had bratwurst before because my parents didn't like it growing up. So, like, going through college and stuff, it was never something I, like, reached for to try either.
Right.
So I'm very excited to try. I'm very excited to see how I feel about this.
So we have our mashed potatoes done. And we're just going to set these to the side while we get our sausages and our onion gravy ready to go. Yay! Great. So since we're cooking outside, we're going to use our Blackstone to cook our sausages in our skillet and our gravy. So if you want to go ahead and add our broth, we are using beer broths, into our skillet. We have a tablespoon of olive oil already in there. And so we're just going to let that heat up with our sausages. And we're just going to let these sausages brown and cook.
Yeah. These are 100% raw.
Yes. But you want to use raw because you're going to want that good sausage grease to make our gravy.
I'm so excited.
So we're going to let this cook and preheat and do all its thing. We're going to let this cook in our preheated pan. That got hot quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
These Blackstones are great.
I was gonna say, always be careful of grease splatter.
Yes.
If you've ever fried your bacon, you know, but
If you've ever fried chicken, you know.
ugh. You know, chicken's one of the things I refuse to fry.
That's
Because
what moms were, right?
Yeah. Well, the one time I tried to fry chicken, I was in college. And I nearly burnt the apartment down because I started a grease fire.
Oh
And,
my God.
like, no one knows why. And then my parents were like, your oil is just too hot. Here, we'll show you. So we were, like, outside. I was home for the weekend, and they were frying catfish they caught at the lake. And they had, you know, like, Dad has this big fry pot that hooks up to the propane tank.
Yeah.
And everything. And they're like, see, the oil's at 350, so now you can drop in the fish. Like, this is when we would do it and everything. I
Yeah.
drop in the fish, and the oil spikes to almost 500 degrees. And I was like, all I did was put the fish in!
It's you. You're the problem.
I know.
All right, so we're gonna let those cook on the other side and get this nice brownness. And look at all that grease that's not popping
Yes.
out at us. That's gonna make a great gravy.
Looks so yummy. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you to have brats.
Excited to try them.
All right, and we have fully cooked sausages. So we are going to get them out of our grease. Leave the grease in. Thank you so much. And I'm just gonna plate these. It's not really a plate, it's a bowl, but you know
It's
what
like
I
a
mean.
plate bowl.
You're right. It's like a combo, like a spork.
Yeah.
Don't roll. Good job.
It said please, though.
So, here are our sausages. We're gonna want to reserve a little of our grease. We're gonna leave about a tablespoon in here. So I'm just gonna soak up a little bit. Okay, we have about a tablespoon of grease left in our skillet. We're gonna add 3 tablespoons of butter. Kate's gonna cut that up for us. Add it over here.
Say I have butterfingers. The way I couldn't pick up that butter now.
You're hilarious. So I'm gonna let it melt and mix it in with my grease. And it's nice and softened because we are out here in the Texas heat, y'all.
That was a southern drawl coming out.
It was. We've been having our nice little sausages, and
It's true.
now we're gonna make our little onion gravy.
Had our caffeine.
Exactly. All right, so we are melting that down, and that's melted down good enough that I'm gonna go ahead and add my thinly sliced sweet yellow onion. Okay, we have our garlic and our beautiful little onions. So now we are going to drop in 3 tablespoons of flour. Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm just gonna let it go all over the juices that we have in here. And then I'm just gonna whisk it around. cook just a little bit.
Cook out that raw flour taste.
Exactly. Like how you would make like a roux. We're just gonna
It's a roux with onions in it.
That's very true. So we're just getting that nice and incorporated. That way we can add in our broth. So I'm using just beef broth. However, you could do part beef broth, part beer, which is, I think, a little bit more traditional. And instead of like the cartons of broth, I do use like a beef base. So it's like 2 teaspoons. Let's see, I'm sorry. To 1, I believe. Sorry. They like to stick.
If you get like a beef broth base like this that you have to mix with water, they're all going to be a little different on the measurement. So you're just wanting to do whatever the instructions tell you to do to get you to 2 cups of broth?
Yes.
To 2 cups of broth.
Yes. So, yeah, right. And mine is 1 tablespoon to 1 cup of water. So, but I'm just going to mix my little base in here and get this nice and incorporated as well. That way, when I pour the water over, it can mix in. Okay, I need about 1/4 of a cup at a time, because if you add it too quickly, you're gonna have really runny gravy. So we're just gonna put our first little 1/4 of a cup in here and give it some nice stirs. And you're gonna see it's thickened up already, so we'll add our next.
It also helps when you're making gravies and stuff. As you can see, we're using a non-stick skillet, so we are sticking to like our spatula and not metal utensils. But if you have like a stainless steel that you can use a metal whisk in, that will help with the smoothness of your gravy as well.
Right. Okay, I am ready for the next. And if your gravy is too runny, you can also use like a cornstarch slurry to kind of help thicken it up. However, I think we are doing good here. It's definitely cooking. It's nice and thick still. And if you need to add more water because it's too thick, you can always do that as well.
Right. That has us at 1 cup total so far.
So we added in that last 1/2 cup, and we're just letting that cook. And remember, as this sits, it's going to thicken. So you're going to want your consistency to be just slightly thinner than how thick you want it.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
But very well put.
So now we're going to add our sausages back into our pan.
I'm just going to dump away from us. There's probably going to be some splashage.
Oh, beautiful.
Yum. I'm so excited.
Me too. I'm just really mixing them in, making sure they get really coated.
You're the lucky one. You get the leftovers tomorrow.
It's gonna be great.
When it's all like sat together, marinated a little more together.
There's certain things that just are better the next day.
That's true.
Beef stew, chili, meatloaf.
Potato salad.
Yes. Okay. Those are looking great. So now we are going to grab our plates, our mashed potatoes, and we'll be right back. Yay. I'm so excited for this onion gravy.
So ready.
Okay. All right. Let's dig in.
Yeah, some gravy and potato. It's the whole point, right?
Just need a little bit more of this gravy too.
That is so good. I can say I'm a fan of bratwurst. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
The caramelized onion gravy, though, it just really takes the sausage up a notch. It's excellent.
It just adds that like extra layer of flavor that you don't realize you need until you have it.
Exactly. am 100% about this.
I love it. Think we should go eat the rest of this?
I think so.
Well, there you have it. Bangers and mash. Nice and sweet caramel latte. Like always, if you liked this video, please make sure you hit the like button down below.
And if you want to see more from us, hit the subscribe. Thank you so much if you're already subscribed to us.
Like always, we'll have our recipes linked for you down below.
All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye!
Bye.